All right, guys, so still talking about introduction of polynomials. Within polynomials, we talk about a term. All right, you guys can go back to that video and see. So we talk about a term. Okay, so what is a term? A term can be a number, a variable raised to a non-negative integer power, or a product of numbers and variables raised to a non-negative integer powers. Okay, so non-negative integer powers, that means the power is not a negative power. Okay, the exponent is not a negative exponent. That's what we call non-negative integer power. All right, so just to keep that in mind. So because sometimes when we read all of these things, you know, we just go cuckoo a little bit. It's like what's happening, but don't be scared. You know, we're here to break down everything for you. Okay, so this one is breakdown time. All right, so now, what are the kinds of terms that we have? We have one term, we have two terms, we have three terms, we have four terms. But, you know, let's talk about three of them that we see a lot of times, okay? So that is a monomial, okay? A monomial has one term, okay? So what are some of the examples of a monomial? So we have, so this one is 9x to the third power. Another example is 7x to the second power y. Another one is 13u(v)w to the fourth power. As you guys can see, it can be a combination of numbers or a number. Okay, let's be specific, a number and two variables, two different variables, right? X or y. Or three different variables. So it can be a combination of that. But what you will see here, there is no sign between the terms, right? The variables, I'm sorry. So there is no positive or negative sign between the variables. So they are all together. That means multiplication between them, like this one here, like this one here, for the variables. Then we can talk about a term. But once we begin to have a plus or minus sign in between, so they are separated terms, okay? So let's go here then and see what we're talking about. So a binomial, okay? So a binomial has what? Has two terms. So a binomial has two terms. So we have 2m squared plus 3n, as you guys can see. So this one is one term plus another term. So we're talking about a binomial. If we take this one here, this is 8 to the second power minus 6b to the third power. So this also is two terms, so that's also a binomial. All right, so now let's come to the last but not least, a trinomial. Okay, so a trinomial has what? Has three terms. You go with me? And then, so what do we have, for example? 5x squared minus 3x plus 9. So 5x squared is one term, negative 3x is another term, and then 9 is another term. So that's why we have three terms, and we call it again trinomial. So we take the next example here, which is 15a to the second power, b to the fourth power. You see, the variables are together also over here with no sign, positive or negative sign in between. So that means this is one term by itself. All right, plus 4c squared, which is another term by itself, minus 2a to the fifth power, which is also another term by itself. So we have 1, 2, 3 terms. All right, because a lot of times we talk about these things, but without really clarifying them. So that's the reason why we have this video here for you guys to be able to see that. Okay, so go back, read it again, watch the video, and then you'll be good. All right, voila.